Welcome to the Pencil Bob channel. I hope you enjoy my stories. Please like and subscribe, and hit that notification icon so you never miss out. Now on with the stories.
I've been learning from this group that special assessments have no limits. Well, now it's my turn. We just got hit with a $37,000 special assessment for road repairs on an undeveloped lot we inherited in a small, expensive community in Bloomfield Hills, MI. I still can't wrap my head around it. $37,000 for roads we don't even use. It's like being asked to pay for someone else's driveway. Let me give you some background. This lot is in one of those fancy gated communities. You know the type. Perfectly manicured lawns, huge houses that all look kind of the same, and rules about everything from what color you can paint your mailbox to how often you need to trim your hedges. We have no intention of ever living there because, honestly, I loathe little gated communities that are over-regulated. It feels suffocating to me, like living in a fancy prison where everyone's watching to make sure you follow the rules. So in addition to property taxes and $6,000 a year in HOA dues, yeah, you read that right, $6,000 a year for an empty lot, we now have the privilege of paying $37,000 so our neighbors' sports cars can comfortably drive around this small community of about 60 homes. It's not like we're talking about a huge neighborhood here. It's 60 homes. That's it. But apparently these roads need to be paved in gold or something. I remember the day we got the notice. It was a Tuesday morning and I was sitting at our kitchen table sipping my coffee and scrolling through my phone. My spouse was making breakfast and our kids were upstairs getting ready for school. It was just a normal everyday morning. Then I saw the envelope from the HOA in the pile of mail. Oh great, I thought. Another reminder about the HOA dues. But when I opened it, my heart sank. I must have made some kind of noise because my spouse turned around and asked what was wrong. I couldn't even speak. I just handed over the letter. $37,000, they claimed. That can't be right. There must be some mistake. But it wasn't a mistake. It was very real, and we were expected to pay it. I spent the rest of the day in a daze trying to figure out how we were going to come up with that kind of money. It's not like we had $37,000 just lying around. That night, after the kids were in bed, my spouse and I sat down to really talk about it. We went over our finances, looked at our savings, even considered taking out a loan. It was a stressful conversation, to say the least. We both felt angry and frustrated. Why should we have to pay so much for a property we don't even use? All of the properties we inherited have bad, expensive HOA situations. The relative who bought them wanted to be a luxury real estate tycoon, I guess. I remember when we first found out about the inheritance. We were excited at first. I mean, who wouldn't be? Free real estate, right? But as we started to learn more about the properties and the associated costs, that excitement quickly turned to dread. The reality is, high-end real estate makes terrible investments and terrible rental properties. It's a lesson we've learned the hard way. The high-rise condos we inherited have HOAs of $1,000 a month. Can you imagine? $1,000 a month just for the privilege of owning the place before you even get to things like mortgage payments or property taxes. And on the topic of the special assessments, it seems like every other month there's a new one. The elevators need upgrading, the lobby needs redecorating, the pool needs resurfacing. It never ends. The undeveloped lots, like the one in Bloomfield Hills, have their own special brand of headache. Special assessments pop up out of nowhere, and they're always for ridiculous amounts. And the commercial properties, they have complicated upkeep that seems to cost more than they bring in. It's a constant drain on our resources and our energy. Basically, we are subsidizing the quality of life for the renters and neighbors. Yay. It's like we're running a charity, except instead of helping people in need, we're helping wealthy people maintain their luxurious lifestyles. It's frustrating, to say the least. People often ask why we still own these properties if they're such a headache. It's a fair question. We contacted a realtor last year about the Bloomfield Hills lot, and they suggested it would sell for $250,000. I find this hard to believe because the houses in the area are all about $2 to $2.5 million. Ours is one of the few undeveloped lots left. When we heard that estimate, my spouse and I had a long talk about what to do. On one hand, $250,000 is a lot of money. It would certainly help with our finances. But on the other hand, it feels like we'd be leaving money on the table. If we sold the lot for $250,000, a developer or builder would probably buy it, build a house on it, and sell it for millions. They'd make 4 times as much as we did, maybe more. So we thought, why not do that ourselves? Why not build a house and sell it, We could potentially make a lot more money that way. But of course, it's not that simple. Building a house is a huge undertaking. It requires a lot of time, energy, and money. And with the way building and material prices have been lately, it's hard to know if it would even be profitable. We've been waiting for building and material prices to come down before making a decision. Every few weeks I check the prices, hoping to see some significant decrease. So far, no luck. It's frustrating, feeling like we're in limbo, unable to move forward but not wanting to give up on the potential profit. As for the condos we inherited, we're planning to sell as soon as prices come up. The area where the condos are located has been in a pandemic-associated real estate downslide. It's been interesting and a bit depressing to watch the market fluctuate. During the height of the pandemic, when everyone was working from home, people moved out of the city and into the suburbs. The condo market took a hit, and prices dropped significantly. We've been keeping a close eye on the market, waiting for the right time to sell. It's a balancing act. We don't want to sell too soon and miss out on potential profits, but we also don't want to hold on to these properties any longer than we have to. The monthly costs are killing us. I've spent countless hours researching real estate trends, trying to predict when the market might turn around. I've become a regular on real estate forums and blogs, always looking for any information that might help us make the right decision. It's become almost an obsession, this constant monitoring of the market. Sometimes, late at night when I can't sleep, I find myself scrolling through real estate listings, looking at what similar properties are selling for. I compare them to ours, trying to gauge where we stand. It's a bit depressing, honestly, seeing all these beautiful, fully developed properties while ours just sits there empty and costing us money. The whole situation has made me really think about the nature of inheritance and wealth. When we first inherited these properties, we thought we had hit the jackpot. But now it often feels more like a burden than a blessing. Don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for what we've been given, but I can't help but wonder if our relative really understood what they were leaving us with. Did they know about the high HOA fees? Did they anticipate the special assessments, or were they just caught up in the allure of owning luxury properties? I wish I could ask them, understand their thought process. Maybe then I'd feel better about the whole situation. I've had many conversations with my spouse about what we would do differently if we were in our relative's position. We've talked about the importance of considering the long-term costs of property ownership, not just the initial purchase price. We've discussed the value of diversifying investments rather than putting everything into high-end real estate. These conversations have shaped our own financial decisions and the advice we give to our kids about money and investing. Speaking of our kids, they're old enough now to understand that something's going on. They've noticed the stress, the late-night conversations, the constant checking of real estate websites. We've tried to shield them from the worst of it, but kids are perceptive. They know something's up. We've used this as an opportunity to teach them about money management, about the responsibilities that come with property ownership, about the importance of reading the fine print and understanding what you're getting into before making a big purchase. It's not the kind of lesson I ever expected to be teaching my kids, but I hope it's one that will serve them well in the future. As for us, we're still trying to figure out the best path forward. Do we bite the bullet and pay the $37,000 special assessment? Do we try to sell the lot, even if it means potentially missing out on a bigger profit down the line? Do we take the risk and build a house, hoping the market will be in our favor when it's time to sell? There are no easy answers. Every option has its pros and cons, its risks and potential rewards. It's a constant source of stress and debate in our household. But we're doing our best to approach it rationally, to make the best decisions we can with the information we have. In the meantime, we're learning to live with the uncertainty. We're trying to find humor in the situation when we can, joking about our luxury empty lot and our status as reluctant real estate moguls. It's not always easy, but it's better than letting the stress consume us. And who knows, maybe someday we'll look back on all this and laugh. Maybe we'll end up making a fortune and thanking our lucky stars for this inheritance. Or maybe we'll finally unload these properties and breathe a sigh of relief. Whatever happens, I know we'll have learned a lot from this experience. About real estate, about money management, about ourselves. For now, we're taking it one day at a time. We're keeping our options open, staying informed about the market, and trying to make the best of a challenging situation. It's not the path we would have chosen for ourselves, but it's the one we're on, and we're determined to navigate it as best we can. You would need to disclose the special assessment in your disclosures. so your realtor could be considering that in her assessment of the proposal of sale price. Does not hurt to get a second opinion or reviewing your declaration to see whether assessments differentiate between developed lots and non-developed lots. If you have no interest in developing, also worthwhile to see if the neighbors will buy the parcel from you. I would imagine they have gotten used to the empty lot. The answer will be found in the CCRs and bylaws because they will always contain information on exactly how monthly and special assessments are levied. I don't think any HOA could possibly assess on the basis of value, because that would be impossible to determine. Even the county assessor has some element of subjectivity. Even in my high-rise condo, theoretically identical condos have vastly different fair market values. My condo, which was gut-renovated by me recently, would sell for twice what the apartment immediately below me sold for, which was in its original condition, i.e. old and originally built as a rental in 1965. It seems as though you are a bit unrealistic in terms of the actual value of an undeveloped lot in your development. In order to build a home that sells for $2 million, you would have to spend a considerable sum and go through a lot of stress to build a new home. Also, unless you are living in a particularly high desirable location, land value per se isn't a major factor. What I mean by this is that in very desirable areas of cities like Los Angeles, older homes will be torn down because the land is so desirable because of its location. The home that is built which will be torn down isn't appealing to the kind of person who could afford a $5 million home. Yes, that's how it works. You are an owner of the HOA, collectively responsible with your neighbors for the upkeep and maintenance of the common areas. The roads in this situation, while a bit different, your argument is like someone who doesn't use the pool in an HOA, so you inherited an asset with something. Unfortunately, it has an expense against it. By the way, sorry for your loss.
I would like to thank you for watching the video to the end. To encourage us to make more videos, please like, subscribe, comment, as well as share. Check out this other video if you haven't already.